I was a weak level 1 student with no abilities who discovered a secret book that guided me to develop the vampire system. Despite the challenges and the monster within, I was determined to protect my loved ones and find my own way as a teen vampire. My name is Quinn Talon, and this is my story.
When the next morning had arrived, the three boys headed down for breakfast as a group as usual. Vorden decided to split from Quinn and Peter and sat on his own on the higher power level tables. But even then, no one seemed to be sitting next to Vorden. "Do me a favor, will you?" Quinn asked. "Keep an eye on Vorden. If anything happens, let me know." "But if something happens, I won't be strong enough to help, and you can't exactly do anything either," Peter replied. "I'm not telling you to get involved. I don't think Vorden is expecting you to help him out either, but just let me know what you see." Finally, after finishing their breakfast, it was time for their combat classes. Quinn had chosen the Beast Weapons class after thinking long and hard. Standing at the back of the hall was a bald-headed man wearing leather armor and had a long katana blade by his side. But the katana blade hilt was jagged and rough, and the back of the blade the same. It looked like it had been forged from an animal that was not of this planet. When Layla had entered and spotted Quinn, she immediately came over to him. "This class is a lot more popular than I thought," Layla said. The room was filled with about 30 students inside. The other classes had around 50, but it was still more than they had expected. "Yeah, I wonder what weapon I should pick," Quinn said, staring at the wall. "Well, I already have mine," Layla said, pointing to her bow on her back. "Attention!" Everyone froze and turned to look at the old man. "My name is Leo, and I will be your teacher for today. Your first task will be to pick your weapon. You must think carefully. Your weapon is your lifeline." The students fanned out and started to look at weapons. Quinn looked at the wall and saw all sorts of things. Axes, short swords, spiked clubs, whips, scythes. There was so much to choose from. He needed something that suited him right now and his ability. Quinn then walked up to one of the random swords on the wall and used his inspect skill. Forge sword, tier basic beast weapon, strength +3, agility -2. The sword is incompatible with the skill Blood Swipe. As soon as Quinn realized that his inspect skill would tell him the stats of each weapon, he started to go around the room looking for the perfect one for him. All the weapons Quinn had inspected so far was at the basic tier level, the lowest level a weapon could be. After searching around the room for a while, Quinn came across a weapon that stood out from the rest. Black Horned Gauntlets, basic tier beast weapon. This weapon is compatible with the skill Blood Swipe. When used with the gauntlets, Blood Swipe will have an increase of 5% in power. The gauntlets were black in color and had little tiny horns going up the forearm. "What a strange choice, young boy," Leo said. "It's not many people's first choice." "Do you mind if I try it?" Quinn asked. "Go ahead," Leo said as he left to check up on other students selecting weapons. Basic horn gauntlets equipped, strength 12, agility 12, stamina 11, defense 2. Now when Quinn checked out his status screen, he had a smaller number next to his stats, which would indicate the equipment level. He felt 3 times stronger compared to before he had discovered the system. Once everyone had finished picking out their weapon, Leo called everyone to gather around the center ring. "Now, I won't claim to be any expert in every weapon," said Leo, "but what I am an expert in is fighting with weapons alone. For your first lesson, I want to see what you've got. We will have a sparring match, 2 people at a time." Erin was the first to put her hand up. She held a single silver longsword that shined bright. It wasn't one of the weapons that Quinn had seen on the wall, so he could only assume it had been one she already owned. At first, a lot of the students were hesitant of going up against Erin. "Oh, I also forgot to add, abilities will be banned during today's sparring sessions," Leo added. After saying those words, students had raised their hands like a rocket. They all wanted to get the chance to beat the famous Ice Queen. In the end, a large man was selected from the crowd who wielded a 2-handed axe. "I think you chose the wrong club. Your ice abilities will be useless here," the man said. Erin didn't reply, though, and simply took her stance. The man charged in, wielding his large axe above his head. When he swung it down, Erin spun her body to the side, avoiding the blow, and at the same time slashed at the back of the man's legs, causing him to stumble. She then placed her blade towards the man's neck, inches away from his throat. "I give up," the man said. Everything had happened in an instant, and the room was suddenly silenced. 2 men seemed to appear out of thin air, wearing a black military uniform. They then grabbed the student by both arms and escorted him to the school doctor to get healed up. The group continued to watch a few fights. The next fight that had caught Leo's attention was the fight with Layla. She had trapped her opponent multiple times, but a few arrows in the boy's legs stopped him dead in his tracks before Leo had decided to call the match himself. The next pair, Quinn Talon and Brandon Richardson, to the arena. As Quinn walked up to the stage, he noticed that Brandon held a large spear in hand, which had great reach. The end was sharp, with a single curved blade at the end. Opponent power level 3, bonus EXP will be rewarded. Begin! Leo shouted. Brandon immediately charged in with his spear, while Quinn stood there and took a fighting stance with both of his hands held out in front of him. When Brandon was within striking distance, he thrust his spear forward. It was fast and impressive to the people watching outside. But to Quinn, who had 12 points in agility, it was easy for him to dodge. "What the hell?" Brandon said as he tried pulling the spear back. "Let go!" While holding the spear with one hand, Quinn opened up his other hand and swung out his fist like a claw as hard as he could at the spear. Then, a few moments later, the spear had been sliced in half. "What the? My weapon, it's faulty!" Brandon complained, but Leo did nothing to step in. Quinn rushed forward, and before Brandon could do anything, Quinn punched him hard in the stomach. Brandon's feet lifted off the ground, and it looked like his body was about to fly away. Inspect. Brandon Richardson, ability elemental, HP 5 of 15, blood type O positive. Quinn grabbed him and pulled him back down, and at the same time kneed him in the face, causing Brandon's nose to bleed and his head to be sent backwards. And finally, Brandon collapsed, lying there on the ground. "Winner, Quinn Talon," Leo said. "Opponent has been defeated, 50 EXP rewarded. First time higher power level bonus, 50 EXP rewarded. 220 of 200 EXP. Congratulations, you are now level 3. 20 of 400 EXP. 1 attribute point awarded. New skill, Blood Bank, unlocked." With the messages, there was also a new skill that had been unlocked. Before Quinn could leave the arena, a couple of boys shouted from the crowd. "That's not fair," a boy said. "Brandon obviously was using a faulty weapon."
Hi, Quinn here. Thirsty for more action? Jump the queue and unleash all episodes. Click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app. Sink your teeth into the next episode of our fantastic journey, only on the Pocket FM universe.